prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried, and true. And with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, a pure and holy, true and true. And with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. And with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. A sanctuary for you. Oh, I'll be a sanctuary, ooh, for you, for you. Amen.
Good afternoon, Understanding Principles, and welcome. Welcome to this worship experience. I'm Reverend Sherry James, and I am the senior minister of this dynamic, beautiful, amazing global community. And I want to welcome you through our virtual doors. Now, this Sunday is the close of a month-long celebration of our founder, the Reverend Dr. Delarice Lett. And I am so glad that you decided to spend this Sunday with us. I want to thank the worship team. Sanctuary is one of the first songs that I learned when I got here. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. I want to be a living sanctuary. And that's my prayer for you today, that something that is shared in this service transforms you at your core and prepares you to be a living sanctuary. Let us pray. Father, Mother God, we open our hearts and our minds to your teaching. We bless this worship experience because we know that it holds a transformation for us. What we want more than anything is to be the people of God that you've designed us to be. We want to express the health, the wealth, the happiness, the joy, the positivity, the creativity that is a part of our spiritual birthright. And what we are asking for is that come up through us to us right now. Let something sung, something said, something done in this worship service change us at the depths of our being so that we may be more like our mother, Father God. I speak a prayer, Father, for all of the families that are assembled here, and I just hold the consciousness for health for everyone in our congregation and everyone in the world. Right now, Father, you know what we are going through. We ask that you send and release your healing virtue in us. It's already here, but release it in us. Let us have the consciousness to express health. Let us have the consciousness to express wholeness. Let us have the consciousness to express the completeness that is natural to us, that is part of our origin story. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I know you always hear me when I pray. And so right now I relax and I allow this service to be as magnificent as you have designed it to be. In the name and through the power that is in the consciousness of my elder brother, Jesus the Christ, I affirm that this prayer is so. And so it is. God bless you. I am so excited. I am so elated. I'm so glad that you're here. This has been an awesome month of celebration, of saying happy birthday, Reverend Della. Happy birthday, and thank you for everything that you've given us. We have celebrated you in song. We have celebrated you in word. We've celebrated you in all different kinds of ways, just to acknowledge how much you touched us. I am so excited that you chose to be here with us on this particular Sunday. We've got more treats in store for you. And so I just encourage you to sit back and just enjoy. Let me share with you our vision for this community. Our vision is to love every person up to their true identity and to their highest potential for the greater good of all. And we're on a mission. We're on a mission to express God's divine love through teaching spiritual principles, worship services, fellowship activities, and community outreach. And our theme this year is break every chain. Break every chain. And I'll be giving the sermon today, and my sermon is entitled Touched by an Angel. And so I encourage you to sit back, relax, and just enjoy this service. And well, put something in the chat. Let me know how you feel. I do want to hear that. I do want that type of participation. But really, just enjoy this service. And I can't wait till you see what we have in store for you today.
I'm Reverend Cherie. It is my joy to be with you today. It's my honor to be with you today. And it is my privilege to be with you today to do this amazing job I get to do. I get to welcome you to Up Church. And so I want you to know that you have walked into a powerful spiritual community. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you if you just clicked in here, and I don't know by what invitation you made it here to Up Church, but I want you to know how much we appreciate that you found us. I want you to know that we actually prepared for you. We knew that you were coming, and I know that this message is going to be especially true, especially powerful, and exactly what you needed to hear. And so I want you to know what you walked into. You've walked into a loving spiritual community that's committed to spiritual growth. And so I want you to get to know the congregation. I'm talking to you. And congregation, this is also a chance for you to fellowship with one another as well. It's where, and it's my favorite part of service, it's where we get to declare who we really are. So let's introduce ourselves to one another by our spiritual names. And so I'll kick it off. I want to know who you are. I am Cherie, and I am power. Tell me who you are. Write it in the chat right now. Tell us your spiritual name. And make sure that the name that you put next to I am is true of God. That's how you know you're doing it right. I am, and then tell me the truth about yourself. Tell me your spiritual name. And we're just going to keep that flowing because, family, I want you to know that it's powerful to declare your name, to speak who you really are. I know sometimes we get to complaining, but this is our chance to do some course correction and tell ourselves the truth. So put your real name in the chat. And those who are worshiping with us for the very first time, or you've been coming for a little bit, I want you to continue and play along with us. Tell us who you really are. Now that you got the hang of it, we want to know who you are. Tell us your spiritual name. And if you're not chatting with us, if you happen to be catching this later, it is not too late to declare the truth to yourself about yourself. So just say your spiritual name out loud. Say it to the person next to you, because we believe in the power of your word. We believe that you are made in the image likeness of God. And so we just want to hear you remember who you are. Amen. And so there's a powerful purpose for us sharing who you are, is because we want you to join our spiritual community. We're here to grow. We're here to expand, not just in our own congregation, but we're here to unfold our mission, our values, our purpose for the world. We believe that when you discover who you really are spiritually, that everything in your life changes because you change. And so we want you to invite you into that experience. And so if you're interested in joining us at Up Church, if you just feel like you heard something that really you resonated with, I want you to email us at upchurch@upchurch.org. We will give you your next steps. We'll answer all of your questions, and we'll make sure you know more about who we are so that you can make an informed choice. But we really appreciate you coming in. We trust that you're going to hear exactly what you need to hear in order to move through something right now you're working with. God bless you. I'm so grateful to have you here today. I'm so grateful to be with you too, family. Those who come time and time again, who are members of Up Church, God bless you real good. I miss seeing your faces, and I'm grateful to be able to exchange and share space with you right now. I'm going to turn our service right now over to another bout of inspiration. So I hope you felt good just saying your spiritual name. Now I'm going to turn it over to Angela Jones. She's one of our members and a founder of the praise dance ministry here at Up Church, showing up and showing out for God. And Angela's going to give us our daily inspiration. Thanks, Angela.
Good afternoon, Up Church. Ooh, I sure do miss me some y'all. I miss seeing your beautiful smiling faces, and I sure miss the way we love each other up. And I cannot wait until we pick up where we left off in the not so distant future is my solemn prayer. I am Angela Jones, board treasurer for those of you who do not know me, and I have been blessed with the privilege of bringing you today's daily inspiration titled Detours and Reroutes. Detours and reroutes on a roadway usually indicate that some construction is underway or an accident has occurred, making travel slower or impossible. Certain ways of thinking and behaving in life will require detours and reroutes if we want to travel successfully. Life's detours and reroutes can always work to our advantage when we perceive them through the eyes of spirit, which always sees all available good as possibilities. As long as we continue to look at and keep our attention focused on the difficulties involved with changing or rerouting thought directions in our life, we will remain in the same lane, delaying our progress and delaying our good. Therefore, when you find yourself engaging in thinking or speaking critically of others, spreading rumors or debasing them, or acting unkindly for any reason, stop immediately and mentally detour and reroute your thoughts, conversation, and behavior. Make a conscious effort to mentally detour and reroute negative thoughts and impulses in order to behold the Christ in all. And the scripture reads, "So the man of God took a different path from the one he had originally traveled." That's from 1 Kings chapter 13 and verse 10. Until next time, family, you make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your Sunday and week. Ciao for now.
Thank you so much, Angela, for that powerful, powerful inspiration. I knew you were going to bring it. And now, so Angela gave us a daily inspiration. Now it's time for us to speak the word of truth to ourselves about ourselves. It's time for our affirmation of power. And this month, we have pulled a section out of Reverend Dr. Delarice Lett's book, Metaphysically Speaking. And it's just been great to speak those words out loud. And so we're going to take this affirmation again. I hope you've been committing it to memory. So I want you to stand on 2 feet. Stand up so that you can affirm with power and conviction the truth to yourself, okay? So we're going to affirm it together. I'll say it once and then we'll speak it together, okay? All that God is, I am. And all that God has is mine. God is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. I am evenly present, all-knowing and all-powerful. I am the temple in which God lives. I am that from which all love springs. I am absolute wholeness and perfection. Let's speak that together. All that God is, I am, and all that God has is mine. God is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. I am evenly present, all-knowing, and all-powerful. I am the temple in which God lives. I am that from which all love springs. I am absolute wholeness and perfection. And so it is. And so it is. It's been a wonderful, wonderful month just celebrating Reverend Della, being able to hear her voice, being able to speak her words. And we're going to keep the celebration going with our next experience. And so we're celebrating Reverend Della, and I want you to enjoy what's in store for you today. God bless you. It's been so good to be with you. Have a beautiful day.
You never really know a thing until you can respond to it emotionally. Feeling is the secret to responding. Thought cannot come to life until you respond to it, because thought must be fertilized by feeling. Thought plus feeling brings about conviction. Conviction produces results. Clarity of thought plus intensity of feelings are the twin keys to personal power. Of course, these keys must be used through your spiritual powers. Haven't you noticed the person who feels deeply invariably is filled with emotional energy and personal power? Energy and power are released through the emotional nature. Because our emotions are the motors which run the machine, uncontrolled emotions vibrate destructively and produce weakness, confusion, sickness, pain, and embarrassment. When your emotions are controlled and used correctly, your emotions are the manufacturing plant for health, happiness, success, and achievement. Your emotional power can make or break you. Your thoughts provide the plan through the conscious mind, and your emotions are the powers which produce from that plan. Develop that inner serenity and tranquility, which is the source of all power. It is in your best interest never to react to the turbulence and confusion of outer activities. This is not an easy thing to do, but it is worth it. You will find you feel better for doing it. Learn to act from your center of inner peace. Let the storms rage and the winds blow, and if they threaten you, from the peace in you, command them to be still in the name of Jesus. Jesus speaking. Peace I give unto you, not as the world gives, I give unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. John 14:27. God bless.
I've been touched by an angel, really touched by an angel. I have hope, I have choice, since I heard that voice telling me all is well. I've been touched by an angel, deeply touched by an angel. What a perfect release. I can feel the peace, happiness words can't tell. I know my life will be better somehow. I've put aside worries and now I can see there's a new life for me. Winter has blossomed this spring. My mind, heart, and body, they sing of the joy in my soul now that love is is in complete control. I've been touched by an angel. Bless the touch of an angel. Now my future is bright as I follow the light my angel has shown to me. There's a new life for me. Winter has blossomed this spring. My mind, heart, and body, they sing of the joy in my soul now that love is in complete control. I've been touched by an angel. Bless the touch of an angel. Now my future is bright as I follow the light my angel has shown to me. How to be free, how to stay free, how to be me. Wonderful, wonderful me.
I have been touched by an angel. Bless the touch of an angel. This has been a really incredible Up Church Founders Month. It's unlike any one that we've ever done before because we certainly have not been virtual, but the blessing of this virtual space is that we've been able to bring you elements of Reverend Della in a way that we couldn't have if we were doing service in person. And so it's just really been a remarkable experience to be able to share with you sermons, songs, videos, other footage, other things that we really would not have gotten a chance to do. And we've been able to give you a taste of what we experienced. And it's been remarkable. And Reverend Della was just a singular personality, just a beautiful woman who just said yes to God and then lived her life reinforcing that yes, lived her life saying yes, yes, yes. Okay, God, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. And that yes has reverberated around the earth, that now there are scores of people that are following the lessons that God spoke through her. And so I want to talk to you today about what it means to be touched by an angel. Because the touch of an angel is there to help you through the change process. The touch of an angel. It's so important that we're doing this right now. The touch of an angel is there to help you through a change process. When you think about the lessons that you got this month from the things that we shared, I want you to just reflect on how it's going to help you through this moment that we are living through right now. The touch of an angel helps you through the change process. There is this cartoon that is on Facebook or wherever, but it's a little social media meme, and it's a picture of a caterpillar and a butterfly, and they're sitting at a table enjoying a cup of coffee. And this would have been the type of picture Reverend Della would have enjoyed. The butterfly and the caterpillar are sitting at the table enjoying a cup of coffee, and the caterpillar says to the butterfly, apparently they haven't seen each other for a long time, and the caterpillar says, "Wow, you've changed." And the butterfly just rolls her eyes in the back of her head and responds, kind of with a smirk, "We're supposed to." And I think about that because I love that. And again, that was so much the kind of humor that Reverend Della would have appreciated. But it is that so many people invest so much time and energy and sometimes money into resisting change, remaining the same. If you think about the money that's being spent to gerrymander and redistrict and all to protect a sameness. But the point of life is change. The point of life is change. Change is the way that God gets your gifts out of you into expression. Think about that. That every gift that you have ever expressed, you first had to change in order to release it. Every gift that you have that you've expressed, you have had to change in order to express it. Change it's the nature of life on earth. It's the way, it's the process that God gave us to get our gifts out of us and into expression. And so what's happening when we're fighting change is that what we're really doing is saying we're fighting the release of our gifts. It's like the gift wants to be birthed, right? The gift wants to come out and it wants to have life in your life, but we got our dukes up. And it's like, we're no, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to, uppercut until finally change knocks you on your butt. Hello, sit down, shelter in place, and mandate. And so when you fight change, you're fighting the release of your gift. You are going against the nature of how your gifts are brought into expression. You're going against the nature of how your gifts are brought into expression. God's ideal for us is when we willingly submit to the change process. Every expression of every gift if you want to get better at being a singer, you've got to change. It doesn't change the gift, but the expression of it, you have to continue to grow. You have to do different vocal exercises. You have to have a different level of discipline. You got to protect your voice. You got to change. If you want to be a world-class athlete, there's a difference between an amateur and a pro. An amateur shows up when they feel like it. A pro shows up whether they feel like it. There's a difference. And so in order to make that leap from amateur to pro, you got to make the commitment that it takes to become a pro. In other words, you've got to change. In order to get the gifts, your body could do the things that are there, but will you commit to the work? I remember a friend, business person, said to me, he had a friend who was a comedian, super. He said, this guy is the Michael Jordan of comedy. He's the Michael Jordan of comedy. And he said, but he won't watch himself so that he can get better. That part of moving from amateur to pro is that you got to watch the tape in order to see where you're successful and where you're unsuccessful. And you've got to study your results because it's just little tweaks here and there that basically catapult you from good to great. But you've got to be willing to put in that work to just look at it and 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 look at it until you see the thing that needs to change and then make that change. And so many times we are resistant to do that because we get comfortable. I know these jokes that I wrote work. I don't want to write any more new jokes. I want the ones that I wrote last night. I want all that, whatever it took me to get those jokes out of me last night. I want those jokes to carry me for the rest of my career. And it's just not how this thing works. Change is the process that God gave us to get our gifts, to get our higher self into expression. And so you're not here just to take up oxygen and then die. You're not here to keep the status quo. As you move through life, the changes that occur in life, they shape the expression of your gift, but they don't cancel your gift. So we have a tendency to shrink in the presence of change. We have a tendency to just kind of slow it down. You know, it's like we're bracing ourselves for trouble. Our shoulders get hunched up. It's like we get into kind of a battle stance, you know, and sometimes we sit down. We stop taking action. You know, we feel like we just need to slow it up so we can see how things are going to shake out. We don't want to make any sudden moves. Let's see how this thing shakes out. You know, some of us are handling this pandemic like that. Let's just see how things shake out before we start making any drastic plans. But I want to tell you that that's inconsistent with God's plan for life on earth. Even in a pandemic, everything that is not being controlled by a human being is still growing and flourishing. I don't know if you noticed, but the trees are still growing. The animals are still moving from infancy to grown-up, to adults. The bugs are still multiplying. It is influenced by this moment, but it's not stopped by this moment. There is this tree in front of a house in Inglewood, and this tree, it comes up out of the ground, maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say waist high, maybe shorter than that, maybe knee high. And then it kind of lays on its side and it grows to the side for a distance. And then it turns and it starts to go back up toward the sky. Whatever caused it to bend and lay on its side for a portion of its lifespan did not stop its purpose. Maybe there was an obstruction that blocked its upward growth, or maybe there was something happening in the soil that caused it to grow on its side. We don't know because, you know, trees are old. But whatever the case, the moment that it could resume its upward growth, it did. There will always be changes that occur that shape and influence our growth. The important thing is that we do not allow those things to stop our growth. That we're not meant to be the same people who enter this moment of quarantine as we will be when we exit this moment of quarantine. We are meant to change. And so my talk today is entitled Touched by an Angel, because when an angel touches you, an angel supports you through the change process. Angels come into your life to support you through the change process. And so I would like to close our birthday month for Reverend Della and Up Church Founders Month with a look at how angels help you through the change process. And so I'm going to give you 8 ways that angels help you change. And then I'm going to tell you why that is so. And then I'm going to close it out and tell you what you need to do next. And so I went to the Bible, but I'm going to intersperse Bible stories with stories about Reverend Della and my experience with her. So one of the first ways that angels help you is through protection. And so one of the stories that you're familiar with in the Bible is the lion's den with Daniel. And what happens with the lion is that the angel keeps the lion from attacking Daniel and shredding him to pieces. Later in that same Bible book, the angel in a different form shows up in the fiery furnace to keep Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego from being burned to smithereens by the fire. In Genesis, an angel shows up in Sodom to help Lot and his family leave before the full destruction of Sodom takes place. Angels are there to protect you. They give you a heads up, or they form a protective layer around you. In my life, Reverend Della fulfilled that role in the way that she mentored me. When she named me assistant minister, she was acting as this protective layer. One, I had not worked in ministry before, not beyond just a volunteer position. And she knew the slings and arrows that come when you step out and you step into leadership, and how people critique every little thing. And so she formed this protective layer around me so that I could grow into the role. She then turned around and acted as a protective layer when it was time for me to go to seminary, and there weren't seeming resources to pay for it. And she went out and she raised the money so that I was able to basically have my seminary education paid for, including food and travel. And so angels show up to be that protective layer. I'm gonna get you through this process. There's somebody right now showing up in your experience, helping you get through a process that you're going through right now. There's somebody right now, whatever it is, everybody's going through something. It doesn't, that's the nature of life. Everybody's going through some kind of change, and depending on how willing you are to move through that change, it just depends on how much the angel needs to show up. But the angel is there to be that protective force around you. The second way that angels show up is through guidance. Angels show up to guide us. They stop us from taking an action that would compromise the will of God in our lives. The angel visits Joseph in a dream and counsels him, don't divorce Mary. Don't put her away. Hagar is pregnant from Abram. And she runs off from Abram and Sarai. And then an angel meets her in the wilderness and advises her to return home and trust the process of the child that was to be born. Angels step in and say, the will of God is over here. Angels provide guidance. These are those moments when we're encouraged to trust the direction, even though we cannot yet see the end. These are those moments of encouragement that keep us going when we want to quit. The angel is there to say, no, darling, not that way, this way. Before I started working with Reverend Della in a ministry capacity, I was working in the entertainment industry. My life was headed in a completely different direction. And when the angel stepped in and said, I'm looking for an assistant minister, and God told me you, it changed the course of my life. The third way is that angels instruct us. They bring instruction. When Daniel has to cross over an area where he could potentially get robbed, he goes into prayer. And the angel Gabriel touches him and talks with him and says, I am now come forth to give you skill and understanding. When you're going through the change process, part of what makes the change process challenging is that you've got to get a fresh understanding, and you've got to develop greater skill. And it's our resistance to developing that skill and understanding that basically keeps us where we are. I don't want to learn anything new. No, I don't want to know this technology. I don't want to learn how to use Zoom. I don't want to learn another piece of technology. I want everything to stay the same. I don't want the gifts that are going to come if I go ahead and learn how to do this thing that feels so far outside of my comfort zone. And so angels come to teach us things that we need to understand in order to move forward in the expression of our spiritual purpose. One of the things that Reverend Della helped me to do was to learn to feel after God. I remember sitting at the edge of her bed, and she's sitting at the head of it. And I don't even remember how the conversation came up, but she said it's a feeling. And she began to demonstrate how she moved from here to here. And I could see the transformation that was happening in her being as I sat at the foot of her bed. So angels come, they come to give you that instruction. I couldn't do this work staying up here. There's no way to do what God called me to do staying up here. I've got to be able to go here and trust what I'm getting here. The angel comes to help you through that process. Again, you're releasing greater and greater gifts into expression. And so you need someone who's going to function as a teacher to help you understand how to do it. The fourth way that angels help us is that they bring encouragement. Angels bring encouragement. When Elijah was in the cave, he was running from Jezebel. He had killed all of her prophets, and she was coming after him, because the last thing you do is mess with a powerful woman. And she was hunting him down. And so he runs to Mount Horeb to hide. And he's in Mount Horeb, and he's listening for God. And he had all the ways that he had experienced God before, but now he needed God in a different way, at a deeper level. And that's when he discovers the still small voice that encouraged him. And so it was at the place that he thought that all was lost, and the angel, in the form of the still small voice, comes to give him hope. So the angel comes to encourage you. Sometimes you don't feel like you can keep going. Sometimes you feel like, you know what? I just keep banging my head against the wall. I'm never going to be able to get out of this situation that I'm in, and I should just quit right now. When Jesus comes out of the wilderness, it says the angels ministered unto him. And I know, it's even in New Thought, we have trouble dealing with an imperfect Jesus, but you don't minister to somebody that's not in need. You don't minister to someone who isn't needy. It says the angels came and ministered unto him, meaning that the angels encouraged him. He spent 40 days working within himself. And he has the sense that he has overcome his inner demons, but not necessarily the full awareness, because the thing is that what you do in practice is great, but it's what you do out in the world on the field that demonstrates that what you did in practice worked. So you come out and you've gotten the skill and you have the inner confirmation, but you may not yet have the outer realization. And so you're in this vulnerable place where you have done it all. You've done all that you know to do, but you don't yet know that it's all going to work out. And so it's a place of vulnerability. It's a place of discouragement. It said that the angels ministered under him. And they encouraged him. They revived him after he had just done some major inner work. And he needed encouragement now to follow through and make the outer demonstration. Watching Reverend Della continually choose life in the face of challenging odds really inspired me. Because I remember watching as our numbers dwindle on Sunday. And what it may have felt like I know what it felt like for me. It just felt like, what's happening? Is this just all falling apart? Am I inheriting a dwindling house? A house that's not stable or shaky? What's happening here? And she continued to show up, and she continued to put one foot in front of the other, and she continued to make provision for us today. She was planting a seed that would produce a tree that she would not get to sit under. And I'm there in the planting process, and I'm watching it happening, and I'm seeing her take action and not necessarily see physical results. I have no doubt that the faith that carried her through helped her to see the results in her spiritual eye, but that's a different experience than in your physical eye. And so watching her do that provided encouragement. It's why I can stand and I can say, hey, with the members we have, we've got a global ministry. I'm not just speaking hyperbole, I'm speaking what I saw in the spirit. Angels come to help you through the change process, because sometimes you reach a place where you are not yet in the overflow of what it is that you are calling forward, but you need some encouragement to keep putting one foot in front of the other. The angels encourage you so that you don't quit. The fifth thing that angels bring you, they bring you training. Angels bring you training. When Manoah's wife prayed for a child, the angel showed up to confirm the promise of the child, but also how to instruct her on how to raise the child. That child would become Samson. Angels train us. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest. Confession session, this was probably my hardest piece, because every note that Reverend Della gave me felt personal. I think one time she gave me notes on a sermon and I just burst out in tears. And I remember her thinking, and when this is what she said to me, so I'm telling you what I think she was thinking based on what she said, that, you know, you don't have to be afraid of the Spirit. And I'm thinking, Reverend Della's not afraid of the Spirit. These notes are cutting me deeply. And I'm crying from that. You know, now today I can tell you, listen, feedback is the breakfast of champions. But that I had to grow into that space. So angels train you, they give you instruction so that you are able to do the work. You got to be able to do the work. And somebody's got to tell you, no, that wasn't that good. Or, no, you were in your head the whole time. That's not really how she said it. Either way, they came through. Like I said, I have since grown through that process, but angels train you. The sixth way that angels help you is that they come to bless you. Angels bring a blessing. Jacob struggled with the angel until he received his blessing. And that blessing was a change in consciousness, because what happens is that the angel gives him the name Israel. When Reverend Della entered my life in a meaningful way, it was when I started attending her Wednesday night classes in her home. And she became this living example of things that I had read in books. I could see myself in the face of this icon. She was approachable. She was down to earth. She was realistic. But she was human. And so I could take advantage of the blessing, because it helped me to how do I say it? I could take advantage of the gifts that were coming forward because the blessing of the angel. It helped to see what it looked like in a human form. I didn't have to think of being a minister as this pious, holier than thou space. Those of you that walk with Reverend Della know that was the furthest from the type of person that she was, but she was deeply ethical. And so I could see what it looked like to work with someone who had ethics that were unshakable and unflappable, just that you could trust her. You could trust her with whatever it is that you needed to trust her with. She was reliable in that way, and yet she was still human. You know, you saw it last week when she was joking, or not joking, she was serious, but I mean, the way that she expresses it about, you know, Franklin come upstairs and drop a little love, and come in the garden and drop a little. There was this humanity about her, but it was this marriage of her humanity with the ethics of God, that you could trust her to be honest and full of integrity. And so the blessing in my life was to be able to see what that looked like, because prior to that, saying yes to ministry was about being this holier than thou person that never makes a mistake. That's a joke. And so that blessing, the angel comes to show you what the blessing of what your gift can look like with skin on it. Number 7, the angel comes to bring comfort. Sometimes you just need to be comforted. When Hagar left Abraham's home for the final time, she found herself again in the wilderness, and she was afraid for herself and her child Ishmael. And the angel shows up to give her encouragement and to provide inner strength. And that's what Reverend Della was. She made you feel at home. You come in, and she had this humor that was just, those of you that were there on Wednesday nights or that work with her closely, you know, she had this humor that would catch you off guard. And she would say something and be like, wait a minute, where did that come from? And it was a little bit off color. And she was hilarious. And the final thing, help. Sometimes you just need some good old-fashioned help. And the angel is there to provide it. When the Sadducees and the high priest put the apostles in prison, the angel opened the prison doors and brought them out and told them to go, stand, and speak in the temple to the people the words of life. When I placed myself in my own prison of my own making, Reverend Della assigned me a sermon. My first sermon was March 2009. Reverend Della assigned me a sermon, and with that one act, the angel opened the prison doors and brought me out and said, go, stand, and speak to my people. Angels are everywhere in our experience. They're constantly providing protection, guidance, encouragement, blessing, instruction, training, comfort, and help. And here's why. Because you need help through the change process. And your purpose does not get expressed in the absence of change. There is no such thing as living your purpose and not changing. They don't go together. Every seed, no matter what kind of seed, operates in the same way. It has to be placed in the right type of soil. It has to be fertilized. It needs to be watered. It needs to receive nutrients. And in the fullness of time, that seed, properly nurtured, will sprout and grow and produce fruit. You are a seed. You are a seed. The Bible calls it this way. The Bible calls it hidden treasure. The hidden treasure in you operates just like that. And so what angels do is that they come for the purpose of providing you one of those 8 or more things to help you become and produce the fruit that lies inside of you. If there is anything that I would ask you to do today in honor of Reverend Della, is don't die with your fruit inside of you. Do not go to the grave leaving the gifts of God that have been implanted in you before the foundation of time without at least attempting to express them. If you just put one foot out, God will meet you the other way. God will send you an angel who will remove the blocks to your forward progress. See, here's the thing. Every block in your life is actually just some ignorance to a spiritual law. Everywhere that you feel yourself blocked is simply a place that you don't understand the law that governs the goods you want to experience. That's it. And so angels come into your life to give you help, encouragement, guidance, whatever it is, but it's all for the purpose of helping you get an understanding of the law that you're violating and to help you make corrections to your application of spiritual law. If you put an apple seed in the soil and provided that it is good soil and it's the right type of soil and you give it the right amount of water and nutrients, that apple seed is going to do what apple seeds do. And if it does not, the problem is not with the apple seed. The problem is somewhere else in the formula, but not with the seed itself. So you don't have to pray over it. You don't have to speak in tongues about it. You don't have to run around the church for it. You don't have to do anything but handle the seed the way the seed was designed to be handled. You don't have to pray to make a seed grow. What you pray for is an understanding of the law that governs the seed and what you're doing that's keeping the seed from growing. What you want to know is, what's the law behind money? What's the law behind health? What's the law behind love in the form of romantic relationship? What's the law back of it? Because if it's not there, it is only an indication that you don't understand the law that governs it. Sometimes the blocks are physical. But whatever they are, whether they're physical, mental, or emotional, the angels show up to show you how to deal with those blocks. Sometimes the blocks are emotional. We may find ourselves locked up in grief for years behind the transition of a loved one. But we don't have to do that because Reverend Della gave us the example. In her lifetime, she had to bury her daughter, process the grief, and continue living a full life. We learn through watching her that we're not supposed to die just because someone that's important to our world has died. There's a spiritual law governing grief. God does not give you a reprieve on your spiritual assignment just because a loved one has transitioned. What you learn from them, what they gave you, the legacy they left in you is now supposed to be a part of the expression of your divine gifts. You don't forget them. They just get incorporated inside of you. Sometimes the blocks are financial. Many of you were raised in spiritual traditions that taught us that money was wrong to have. We spent a good portion of our adult lives not having enough money in a misguided attempt to prove that we were good or pure people. And thank God Reverend Della shattered that myth. I love what she said last week. She said, I take a hatchet to make my ends meet and I kill it right now. And we used to sing every Sunday, I can have as far as I can see. I can have as far as I can see. Sometimes the blocks are relational. We can't get over the rejection of someone that we wanted to be accepted by. And instead of processing the rejection so that we can change that energy, we hold it inside. And it becomes a block to our divine gifts. Or we hold ourselves apart from others and never allow ourselves to connect and enjoy the richness of close relationships. We're so busy trying not to be rejected that we never fully connect with the people around us. When you've been touched by an angel, when you have been supported through change by an angel, then it's time to take action. See, a visit from the angel helps you change. Your life is now better because you can see life better. When you've been touched by an angel, you have hope, you have choice. The voice came to tell you that all is well. The angel helps you release what you've been holding on to, and you can feel the peace. Life is better because you put aside worry. Winter has blossomed into spring. Your whole mind and body, they sing of the joy in your soul, now that love is in complete control. Angels instill confidence so that you can move forward. Angels free you from limitation so you can do your work. Angels provide divine guidance and trustworthy direction so you don't have to guess. And so you may know with clarity, my friends, that you have been touched by an angel. God bless you.
Things are confusing, you don't know what to do. It seems the world is closing in on you. It's time to move, but you don't know where to go. You're in a panic and you can't let it show. Don't call your neighbor, your answer isn't there. Don't go to family, they have their own despair. There is a place to go where someone will care. Take your burdens to the Lord in prayer. You can always go to God in prayer. Be assured that He will meet you there. You don't have a thing to worry about. He can handle it without a doubt. And Jesus will meet you there in prayer. You walk the floor at night and wonder what to do. It seems like trouble is always following you. Friends disappoint you after giving you their word. Reasons they give are the biggest lies you've heard. I know just where to find the answer you seek. A conversation where you need not even speak. Just still yourself and go to one who really cares. And take your burdens to the Lord in prayer. If you're sick, the Lord will make you well. You can trust Him, He won't listen and tell. Jesus Christ is just a friend you need. In Him you have the power to succeed. And Jesus will meet you there in prayer. Hey, 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 work it out. He can work it out, work it out. He can work it out, work it out. He can work it out, oh, work it out. He can work it out. Jesus will meet you there in prayer. You need a friend who has some power to you. Your mind needs straightening out, you're totally confused. You need to know how much your Savior really cares. You need to know your burdens He will gladly bear. Turn within, that's where He waits for you. He knows when and where and what to do. He'll solve your problems and heal your despair. Just take your burdens to the Lord in prayer. Trust in Jesus, He will set you free. To be all that you were meant to be. If you trust Him, you will see. He gives life more abundantly. And Jesus will meet you there in that. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah, work it out. He can work it out, work it out. He can work it out, work it out.
Are you bopping in your seat? Work it out. That dancing was epic. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you for just the gift of your talent, your beautiful musicianship, but the dancing. Hello, the dancing. Y'all, the men can boogie, huh? Wonderful. Oh, family, this is our opportunity to sow a seed into this ministry, to plant back into the ministry that has fed you spiritually. And I want to thank you in advance for your support for what we're doing here at Understanding Principles. We're on a mission to spread God's divine love through teaching spiritual principles, worship services, fellowship activities, and community outreach. And it takes a partnership to make that happen. This is not a one woman, two woman, one man, two man operation. It takes a team of people, and you're a part of that. And so we thank you for your support for this ministry. We have a few ways that you can give to us. I should let you know, don't want to skip ahead. We have a building fund, and it's week 31 for the building fund. So if you are participating in that and supporting that effort, the gift is $31 or any multiple of $31. You can give electronically, however you've come prepared to give. You can go to, you can do a text to give, bring up a text message the way you normally would. In the to section, you type 73256. In the memo section, you would type Upchurch, no spaces, UPCHURCH. And when you hit send, you get a reply. And that reply will have a hyperlink. When you click that hyperlink, it will take you to a safe page to complete your gift. You can also go to our website, upchurch.org, and complete your gift there. There's a button there that says Give Online. When you press that, it will take you to a page where you can complete your gift. And you can also use Cash App. Our Cash App ID is $UpChurchLA, $UpChurchLA. You can also mail in your gift to 600 West Queen Street, Inglewood, California, 90301. And so now we want to take this opportunity to bless our offering. And so take your offering, however you've come prepared to give, take it in your left hand, cover it in your right hand, and repeat after me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God. All right, now it's time to add a declaration. We want to complete that blessing with a declaration to the universe that says, this is how I like to receive my good. I give cheerfully, and I receive lavishly. I am a cheerful giver. I am in the flow. Now, what I want you to do is pick a statement that works for you and put it in the chat. I am in the flow. The presence and the power of God now supplies my every need. I am surrounded by God's abundance. I live in an abundant universe, and I easily and effortlessly partake in all that God has. I am divinely supplied. You don't have to type all of it. Just pick the phrase that resonates with you, because we're sending the gift forward with gusto. We're saying, come back to me, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, pouring out a blessing that I don't even have room to store. It's more than I can imagine. All right, family, let me pass it to Reverend Cherie for some announcements, and then I'll be back to close us out.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Reverend Cherie, for those announcements. And thank you, family, for being here. Thank you so much for spending this month with us to celebrate Reverend Della. Happy birthday to all the July birthdays. I wanted to find a unique way for us to close out this month and this particular service. This is the last Sunday of July for 2020. And the sermon last week that Reverend Della preached, it actually closed with her singing her favorite song. And so what I'd like to share with you is Reverend Della singing a song, her favorite song, and it's going to be the last thing that you see. So I just want to just bless you right now to really be transformed by all that you've learned about our angel. I bless you to be moved at the core of your being, at the depth of your being. And I cannot wait to see you next week. I also want to encourage you to join us tonight on Instagram Live for our sermon after party. And our ID is, our Instagram ID is at Up Church Live. That's at Up Church Live, and we'll be there at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. All right, I'm going to pass it on to Reverend Della. God bless you.
I'm going to sing my favorite song to you this morning. This is my favorite song because this is my testimony. And the ushers are going to take up your offering. I was doing Johnny Carson's television show, and I was about to go off on a date with the man who was my fiance, who is now my husband. And I was feeling fly and flip. And right in the middle of my singing, my brain exploded. And they tell me I was supposed to be dead before I hit the ground. That was in 1979. They say you can't live with an aneurysm rupturing in your brain. That was in 1979. I had brain surgery twice in 10 days. 10 days later, I was doing a commercial for Campbell's Soup. I know what God can do. I was laying in the pre-op room, and my husband and my son, my daughter, all of my had come, and they were saying all the things that you needed to say, and they were smiling, and my husband said, "I'll be waiting on you, baby. Everything's gonna be all right. Don't worry about it." And my son said, my son's a doctor. I checked him out, mother. He's the best you can get. Don't worry about a thing. You're gonna be all right. My daughter said, "Mama, you got to hurry up and come out of here. We got to go shopping." All of what I needed at that moment. And they rolled me into a room. And whenever I get nervous or tense, I moan or I sing. And I began to sing this song. God is so wonderful to me. My God, He is so wonderful to me. Can't you see? He is everything I have hoped for, and everything I will ever, 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 ever need. God is so wonderful to me. us joy and happiness. He brings joy, sweet joy, precious joy and happiness. That's what he brings. And he brings it as if it were in a dream. He's my shining star in the night. I can count on him to change the darkness into a bright and shining light. God, oh God, is so wonderful to me. Joseph Sala, y'all. God, my God, is wonderful to me. Every day, in every way, my God, oh, he's so wonderful. He's wonderful to me. Can't you see? My God is everything. Everything I've ever hoped for. I'm a witness in here this morning. He's everything and anything that I will ever need. God is the wonderful. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. My God. God is. Oh, he's wonderful. My God. My God. God is so wonderful. I place you lovingly in the hands of God. And I do that because only God has enough love to surround each of us individually. And only God has enough power to protect each of us individually. And God has that perfect peace that surpasses all human understanding. And he will watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another, living in the law. He'll do that because he's wonderful. He's wonderful. He's wonderful. He's wonderful. God is so wonderful. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I can trust him to take care of me. My God is wonderful. Oh, yes, he is. My God is wonderful. He's wonderful.
is wonderful. My God is wonderful. He's so